Covering music-related content of all genres. If it filters through Eastern Texas, it's fair game. Y'all bring it. From Texarkana down to the coast and Dallas down to Houston and everything in between, we are ETX ROCKS!
Hit the brakes!
Cut! Hey y'all, and welcome to a brand new episode of the ETX ROCKS podcast with Boston Chris. I'm sitting here with special co-host Chad Malden of Malden Productions.
How you doing?
And I wanted to tell you guys about something that's happening on August 26th here at K.E. Bushman Celebration Center here in Bullard. Chad, why don't you tell the folks what's going on out here?
Yeah, so anyway, August the 26th, we have Josh Ward coming out, an amazing Texas country artist, 6 #1 singles on the Texas Music charts consecutive. Yeah, it's good work when you can get it. Anyway, so he's a great performer, great songwriter. So you guys come on out. We've got some great opening acts. We have Kirk Baxley from close to Austin, Georgetown area, doing main support. You guys need to find out who this guy is. He's amazing. So come check him out. And then, of course, our hometown boy, Chris Colston, opening the show. It's going to be a great night. So as far as tickets are concerned, if you can go to outhousetickets.com and you just type in Josh Ward or find it there on the page, you can buy tickets and get all that lined out. It's going to be an amazing night. There'll be food there for purchase, lots of AC. We don't want to forget that, and just a great night of Texas country, to be sure. Yeah,
so once again, that's August 26th at 8 p.m., the one and only Josh Ward, Spirit of Texas Country, presented by Jimmy's Bourbon, I guess, with opening acts Chris Colston and Kirk Baxley. Tickets are $25. You can purchase them at outhousetickets.com.
Yep.
So make sure you come out to Bullard and catch you some real Texas country music. And we're sitting here with a good buddy of mine. I've known him for a year or so, and I just wanted to tell a little bit of a story of how I got to know who Darrin Morris was and is. And I started going to a church out there on 259 in Longview, Texas called Restoration Fellowship Church. And there was this guy there that was leading the worship team and singing every single Sunday. And I was like, man, this guy is incredible. And of course, you know, circumstances got involved where we couldn't go to that church anymore, and I didn't know who this guy was, didn't know him by his name, and about a year later we happened to be at Leon's Steakhouse there in Longview, and lo and behold, there he is again. He's up there on the stage with his own band, and he's singing anything but what you might hear in church. And I was like, man, this guy is great in church and out of church. And of course, you know, at the time when I saw him at Leon's, it didn't, like, 1 and 1 didn't add up to 2. I didn't realize this was the same guy I had seen at church at Restoration the year before. In fact, I probably went and saw you probably 3 or 4 times before I was like, oh my God, that's the guy from Restoration. And then, of course, we saw you again at church earlier this year. But that's the story of how I got to know and meet Darrin Morris. And I know a lot of people out there know who he is. He's very well recognized here in the East Texas area for his contributions to country music, and especially his contributions to the community as well, giving back and things like that. So I just wanted to introduce and welcome Mr. Darrin Morris to ETX ROCKS. How you doing, bro?
Thank you very much for having me, man. I appreciate it.
I know normally when we introduce somebody, it's all about accomplishment. It's all about, you know, your accolades and things like that. And there's no shortage of that with Darrin Morris, that's for sure. But I think I would rather with you talk about that during the meat of the podcast, so to speak.
Sure.
So I know that the band concept, the Darrin Morris band concept, has its roots in the church as well. So tell us how you kind of started as a church singer and branched out into the Darrin Morris band.
Right. Yeah. I my dad was a pastor for 48 years, and so wow. I grew up in church my whole life, and I strictly did, just Christian music and praise and worship music for about 20 years.
Wow.
And just about 3.5 years ago, I decided to start this country band. And I'd always had a love for country. I mean, I grew up listening to country, but I never did really go out and perform it per se. I mean, I would do a few weddings here and there, along the way. But as far as going out with my own band and performing and doing country music, that was something that we just started about 3.5 years, almost 4 years ago now. But yeah, I mean, that's where we started out. Our whole band, all 5 founding members of this band started out right there as at our praise and worship our praise and worship team there at church.
And all 5 original members were in the worship team as
Absolutely, yeah.
well?
Wow.
Every single
That's
one
cool.
of us were, yeah. So it was great, but
Well, I remember, the first time seeing you perform at Restoration. The worship team was the main reason why I kept coming back. It was just spirit-filled. It was clean and wholesome. And, I mean, every church is that way, but, that's what brought me back initially for the, I guess 5 or 6 weeks that we came. I'm not a huge church person, but...
Well, it seems like to me, country music and gospel music are first cousins.
They really are.
The community, country music community, is friendly to the idea of Christianity as a faith, and so R&B for that matter too. Anyway, you didn't stray too far from the fold. You're still in the family.
And
right?
anytime we get a chance to do, we just did one a few weeks ago where we went out and did a praise and worship set for a community thing that we did there in the Harmony community. And so anytime we get the chance to go out and do Christian music, even though we're doing country music, we do it.
Well, we just mentioned Aaron Watson a minute ago. I don't know if anybody, I'm sure a lot of you guys listening, and Darrin, you probably have too, seen him live. He's got it. I mean, there's a part of his show where he just... he shucks the corn a little bit.
We just opened for Aaron at the balloon race just a few weeks back, and that's the first time That's the first time I got to hear him live. And I mean, during his show, I mean, I love the fact that he was talking about faith and Jesus as his Lord and Savior and things. And that really spoke to me more than even his music and his playing and singing, which were all phenomenal.
Yeah.
That spoke to me personally.
Sure.
More
and on
than
the
even
Texas
all of
circuit,
that.
Aaron's probably, he's one of the tops right now.
Absolutely.
So obviously that's not a hindrance to being a
and
country
of course,
music
I
performer.
think Aaron was the first person, or maybe the only person in history for his debut album to debut at #1 on the Billboard chart.
As an independent.
Yes.
That's another thing
Yes.
that people don't talk about that
Right.
much. I mean, he's with 30 Tigers as his management company, I think, or his booking. I'm not sure which, but not as a label. As far as I know, you guys may correct me if you know any different out there, but I'm pretty sure that debuted as an independent. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's pretty unheard of.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So tell me, I mean, I know your faith is very important to you, but I also know your music's very important to you. So how do you balance the two?
Well, I mean, it to me, it's not a balancing act. It's a way of life. I mean, I'm gonna be the same whether I'm singing or performing, country music, or I'm singing or performing Christian music at a church. I mean, my life. I want my life to represent, Christ, no matter where I'm at and no matter what I'm doing at all times. And so, to me, it's not really a balancing act. To me, it really not.
Right, because it's a worldview for you. And so that just means that whatever it is you do is filtered through the way that you see the world.
Sure.
And you see the world as a Christian. And so whether you're singing country music or whatever, it's all, that's just, it filters through that worldview.
Right. So.
Yeah, that's really cool. I know that, a lot of times there can be a struggle for musicians, especially, when you're honing your craft locally, and a lot of times you have to be in the bars, you have to be in the clubs.
And that's one thing that and like just like you said, I mean, we do play in the bars, we play in the clubs and all that kind of stuff, but my thing is my faith is I believe strong enough to where I can look beyond just that situation or that certain place that I'm in, and I can still be, I think, a witness and an example of Christ no matter where I'm at. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think that Christians are supposed to go hide in caves.
Exactly right.
Well, no, but I mean, my father-in-law, who we did a episode with him and Red Leone. He's been playing pedal steel for 68 years, and he would never play a venue that his family couldn't go to.
Right.
So he would only play like restaurants and festivals and things like that. And somehow he's made a life out of that.
Right.
And that was just by him believing in his faith and not stepping outside of that. He wanted his family with him.
Absolutely. And there's totally nothing wrong with that. And I totally agree if that's where your conscience is at. That's what you need to do, But I know I know that you can get caught up in things that you don't believe in, and you don't. So you have to be really careful, and you just have to really be conscious of what's going on
avoid
around
the
you.
temptation.
Sure, absolutely, and it's always there.
I know you've been married a long time, and you're a dad as well,
Yes.
so that comes into play as well.
Absolutely,
I'm sure when you're out on the road.
Yep.
So what's that like? Having to leave your family behind.
We've been married for 24 years, believe it or not, and we got married about a month after we graduated high school.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, we've got 3 girls of our own, and then we adopted 2 little boys.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So we've got 5 total. And
No,
yeah,
I don't feel so bad now.
Is that all?
that's it. Yeah, that's so far. No, thank God. Hopefully that's it.
So Tabitha, he just said so far. I just want you to catch that.
No, don't get that. But sometimes it can be tough. I mean, we haven't ventured out on a consistent basis up to this point yet. And we're looking forward to that obviously in the future. I mean, we've taken some trips where we've had to be gone for a while, but and we anticipate, and we know, her and I both, and even the other guys and wives and girlfriends and stuff, they understand that eventually we're going to be out on the road more and more. And so we're kind of building up to that, to where everybody, can be
But it's not uncommon these days. I mean, no matter who you are, to go out and do 3, 4, 5 day runs and come back. That's just a really common way to do it these days.
Yeah.
Not that many people. I mean, used to, back in the day, you climb on a tour bus and you'd be back home,
a month later.
Yeah, or 3 or 4 months later. And,
sure.
But it's becoming a lot more common for people to go out for, week-long runs, 3, 4, 5, 6 day runs. And it's not a bad way to do it.
Well, then you have the radio tours too. I mean, you have your live shows.
Yeah, when you got a single tours. Out, you're booking. Your radio promoter.
Yeah, and I just think that's a great way to do that, because I mean, families do struggle with things like that, being gone so long. And so I think for record labels and booking companies and things like that, I mean, I think that's the way that they should do it. Is they should 4, 5, 6 days out on the road and then be home for a few days.
Yeah, I mean, and then if something falls in your lap, if Aaron Watson calls up and says, "Hey, we're going out for the next 60 days,"
well, yeah, I mean, that's understandable, but not on
take that gig. But for the most part,
sure,
there's ways to do it. That's good.
Yeah. So how involved is your family in the DMB nation, as y'all call it?
My wife doesn't really involve herself a lot in it. And then, my older girls one's a senior in high school, one's in college. So she's off in college in Arkansas. And then the other kids are little. So they don't get really involved in it. But I mean, whenever we can have them with us and things like that. Like last summer, we took a big trip to Cheyenne, Wyoming, where we played several shows, and the whole family got to go. So that was really nice, But as far as like when school's in session and stuff, my wife's a teacher, so when school's in session and the kids are in school, they're not really involved very often, during
but that's
the school
good.
year.
I mean, that gives them some normalcy,
Sure.
It's good.
And so, I mean, what do they think about the fact that maybe their dad and their husband are kind of getting well known a little bit here?
They're very, very open and supportive of it, man. I mean, and that's not the case all the time. You would think, people would be really on board with that, but a lot of times you'll see families don't really care for that kind of stuff. But but mine is very supportive, and they always have been from day one, because they knew they just known my whole life that and their whole lives that this is what I was meant to do, and so they're very supportive and very So.
And those are the kinds of questions I like to ask on these shows, is because, a lot of people might see Darrin Morris, the singer, Darrin Morris, the artist, the writer, whatever. But not too many people might know that, that you're a husband, you're a father. And that's important to me to see that side of things, because people don't realize, hey, these people are human. Darrin Morris is human, and puts his pants on one leg at a time. Hopefully,
absolutely.
I hope.
We're just like anybody else. I mean, we're just doing what we love to do. Just if you're a doctor or a nurse or a teacher or whatever, as long as you're doing what you love to do and what you feel like you were born to do, man.
And that's a huge blessing to be able to do something like that. Whatever it is you like to do, if that's what you get to do, then that's awesome.
So my priorities, man, honestly, are my faith in God, my family, and then country music. Yeah. So that's just the way I like to do it. Yeah.
And it makes it easy too when you're writing, because 98% of country music is about
those things
or family.
Sure.
I mean, you got to write a song about a train every now and then.
Oh yeah, you got to have a truck and a dog and all that kind of stuff.
So it would be faith, family, country music, and trains.
There you go.
Well, you forgot pickup trucks.
Well, yeah, okay.
Drinking beer.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nathan. Sorry. So when did you realize that being a singer in a country band was more than a hobby for you? When did you take that next step?
Well, we started out really slow at first. We just started going to a restaurant there in Gilmer, Texas, right outside of Gilmer on the Lake. And
that steakhouse out there?
Yeah, it's Walking Nest Steakhouse right outside of Gilmer there. And we just started off slow, doing an acoustic show and doing like an hour or 2 hours a night and stuff like that. And then we incorporated, more of the band members. And finally, we started doing a couple of shows with the whole band. And but man, the response from people was really what blew me away. I mean, they were like, "Man, where you guys been? What have y'all been doing?" And basically, and so that's where it started out, man. And just it's the response from people and people starting to just show up, and then somebody else would be there eating that night and be like, "Hey, I know somebody over here. Why don't you guys come over here and sing?" And then you go over there, and then it's just like kind of a snowball effect.
Yeah, kind of a word of mouth.
As the ball starts rolling, it just gets bigger and bigger, and so that's just really the way it happened. It's just so.
So how do you? What's the plan now for you and the band? That you're localized, you're well known here in East Texas. You've been decorated many times from the East Texas Music Awards. So what's the plan now to get you from just being that to a national touring band?
Right. Well, we have been in contact and with some people out of Nashville, the Cliff Doyle Agency and Way Out West Records. That's something that we perceive in the future. We'll be signing hopefully a deal with them pretty soon, and that'll be able to help us to get not only all over the state of Texas, which primarily we've been, for the most part, East Texas. Like you said, I mean, we've done just about everything we can really do here, locally, which we never want to lose, our roots here, because we love East Texas. Of course, we're all from East Texas. All five of the members of the band are born and raised right here in East Texas. So, I mean, obviously, this is our first love, and this is, what got us started. So we never want to lose that. But we do want to go out and branch out into the whole state of Texas, and then, the region as far as, the surrounding states, and then, possibly, get on that national or even international. Because I know there's, our good friend Sarah Hobbs is about to go over to England or something, right?
London,
So, I mean, for
She's
us
the only female that was invited to that, too.
Yeah, so I saw that, and she's just a great person. I love her to death, and that's something we want to do in the future too. Is do that kind of thing. So,
and I hear country music is huge in Europe.
Yeah, it is,
and
like Australia as well.
Yeah,
so,
Australia
there's plenty of opportunities outside of even the United States to go and perform country music. So
yeah, and I mean, I could definitely see that for y'all as well. I mean, the first time I ever heard the single "Dancing in the Rain" was a video which was taken up high, and you guys were playing at CMA Fest in Nashville, and I was just like, wait. I thought they were an East Texas band, and this was before I was real educated on how things worked around here and things. So I was just like, this is weird. I just saw him at East Fork last week. What's he doing out there? But I mean, I was like, man, that is super cool.
Yeah.
And then I saw your Cheyenne trip and things like that. So I mean, it's always fun as someone who's behind the scenes and a huge fan as I am to see different acts like Sarah, like yourself, like Cody. Getting that success, it's really fun to watch from outside.
Yeah, man, and I'm really proud of all the East Texas artists that are doing so well right now. Katie Lynn. I mean, that's just amazing to see. I've known her now for about a year and a half, 2 years, and just to see where she. Where she started out and where she's, what's going on with her now. And then, like we said, Sarah and Cody and even Chris Colston, good friend of mine.
I know that guy.
Yeah. So to see all these guys, and these girls' success as well, it really thrills me to be a part of the East Texas music scene. So,
and the really cool thing is, everybody he just named, that Darrin just named, everybody's nominated for the awards this year. And, you'd think that would be a competitive thing. And I mean, everybody wants to win. Let's not sugarcoat that. But the really cool thing about this community, the East Texas music scene, is everybody's legitimately happy for whoever wins.
Absolutely. Man.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my, recollection from last year's award. It seemed like it was a Darrin-Cody fight all night long. Cody's winning, Darrin's winning, and you guys were genuinely happy for each other. Every
Absolutely,
time you
man.
won.
At the end of the night, man, I we went and congratulated each other, and that's just the way it is here in East Texas.
Yeah.
We're a big family. We really are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I love about East Texas is
Yeah.
the family, kind of attitude.
It's a really cool thing, if somebody has a night off, I mean, if Darrin has a night off, he's out supporting somebody. If Sarah
You never
has,
know where somebody's going to show up. I mean,
exactly.
you really don't.
And then I always,
really cool.
I just think that's the really cool thing about the East Texas music scene.
Yeah.
Is that everybody supports everybody else.
They do.
And I think that's really unique about East Texas. I don't think that's something that's typical in other places. I really don't.
Yeah, it's a good vibe here for sure.
So, Darrin, tell me a little bit more about DMB Nation.
DMB Nation, man, I just threw that out there one day and it kind of stuck, man. I was like, well, instead of just saying the Darrin Morris Band all the time or Darrin Morris or whatever, I just thought we'd put some kind of twist on it a little bit and something different and something kind of,
Yeah.
kind of a little more social media kind of deal.
Hashtag DMB Nation.
There you go.
That's kind of like where I'm leading into
Right.
it too, because one thing that I'm really impressed about Darrin is how social media savvy you are.
Gotta be these days, right?
You
Well,
do.
I mean, a lot of
It's a
bands are
big
great at utilizing Facebook and Twitter and things like that. But I mean, one thing that I think is unique about the Darrin Morris Band is they have their own app.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
good.
been a big help for us.
And that's not something you see from other local bands.
Yeah, so it's like fans can check tour dates and stuff
Absolutely.
like that. That's awesome.
Everything is on there. I mean,
It's great.
I mean, it's a great app,
And it's free. That's the best thing about it.
Free.
Everybody likes free.
It's
right?
got all the tour dates. It's got all
does.
merchandise and things on there.
Yep.
You can find.
You can go to our website from there. You can go to Reverb Nation. You can go to Twitter. You can go to Facebook. Everything from the app. And like I said, FREE. That's the main thing.
Yes. Yes.
I'll never forget the first time I heard that there was a DMB app. I was like, wow, man, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, more people need to do that. Seems like it would be a lot easier for to get things out there, especially if it's a free app.
Yep. There you go.
Another free app is Podbean.
Yes.
So make sure you
I've heard of those
download
guys.
that one,
Yeah.
please. Podbean.com.
There you go.
Search for ETX Rocks.
Yes.
So I know that recently Wes Jeans was added
Yes.
to the Darrin Morris Band, and Wes, I mean, he's a local legend.
Absolutely.
Let's be honest, he's
Yeah.
a blues genius, in my opinion. A lot of people know who he is. I want you to tell me and the listeners out there what kind of influence has Wes had on the Darrin Morris Band sound?
Well, like you mentioned, he's a Texas blues just genius, and it just adds a little more dynamic to what we do. I mean, to me, man, I always want to stay true to the country root and the country sound. That is country. But I like throwing in a little bit of a blues and rock and a little bit of this and a little bit of that every once in a while, just to kind of.
It's the Texas thing coming out. I mean, Texas country generally has a little bit of a southern rock element to it.
Yeah.
While being country. I mean, it's still distinctly country at the same time.
And so I think Wes has really added to that a little bit of because you just kind of never know what we're gonna do. I mean,
Did he replace one of your other members?
We did, yeah. He had. It was one of our founding members, one of our original members, and he had decided that he wanted to go and do something else.
Sure,
and so we were in the process of looking for a lead guitar player, and Wes was working at a music school. Or a music store, I'm sorry, in Marshall, and was looking to get back on the road and start doing more shows. And so it was kind of just a perfect timing thing for us and for him. And so it's
awesome.
It's working out great. So
I got to tell you, my girlfriend and I recently saw Darrin again at East Fork, and this was our first time seeing Wes with the band, and we were real intrigued about what differences there would be. You know? And man, they played a version of Blue on Black where
he got to show his blues chops.
Well, it was Wes on the left, and it was Joshua Smithers on the right.
Yeah,
and it was like a guitar battle from.
It was great.
I mean,
and
man,
what's crazy, man, is that both of those guys are in the finals for guitarists.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Oh,
trust me, I think that's really cool too.
Yeah.
But man, it was like
So he fit right in. He just had to dust off a few of his old Merle Haggard licks, and then he was ready to go.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, not on this particular song. Let me tell you what.
He didn't need him on that song, did he?
You know, I've seen a lot of music in the last 14 months or so, and I mean, I was completely blown away.
Those guys are amazing. Man.
Next time we're out to see you, please warn us before you do Blue on Black so I can record that. Because I'm still kind of depressed that we didn't get that on video, but
It's a cool song.
I mean,
we actually did not even have that in the lineup that night. And I think, was it your nephew or asked
He
us
asked
if we
for
would
it.
do
Yeah,
it? And we were like, well, sure, yeah, of course we'll do it.
It was-
so he requested it. If we
was-
hadn't requested it, it wasn't even in the lineup.
it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched Joshua play behind his head, and then Wes was picking with his teeth, and then it went back to Joshua playing with a beer bottle, and I was just like, why? And
Why? How?
Like Darrin just said, you know, the Darrin Morris band is a 5-piece band. It's 4 musicians, and of course Darrin with his unbelievable country to the bone voice, like I said to the Longview News Journal. And to my knowledge, they are the only 5-piece band in East Texas where all 5 members have an individual nomination for an East Texas Music
Oh, that's
Award.
cool.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Wow.
I do believe you are the only ones. I know Teaser has all individual nominations as well, but they're a 4-piece.
Okay.
So we've got.
That's great.
Well, I'm going to let you introduce your band to everybody.
All right. So on rhythm guitar from Henderson, we've got Josh Smithers. Then we've got from Marshall, our drummer, Jeremy Moore.
And he also does harmony.
He also does the backup vocals. Yes, exactly. Then we've got Blake Watson on bass, and he's from Gladewater. And then, of course, we got Wes Jeans on lead guitar, and he's from Marshall as well. And then me vocals, and I'm from Gilmer. So,
And again, all 5. Blake Watson, bassist of the year.
Yeah.
Both guitar players are in the top 5 guitarists of the year.
That's crazy.
Jeremy Moore is drummer of the year finalist. And then Darrin himself is male vocalist finalist.
There you go.
So,
And he's up for Entertainer of the Year, too, I think.
yeah. How many nominations did y'all have?
11.
11. Yeah.
We're blessed, man. Honestly,
Crazy.
we
Do you
are.
know all
We're
11
just-
categories?
I'm not going to name them. I probably could, but I'm not going to.
So what role would you say the awards have had in actually catapulting the career of the Darrin Morris Band?
Oh, it's been great. This is our 3rd year to be involved, and man, it's just people, they see those awards and they see the things that, the videos and things from past years of music awards and things. And it's just helped us as far as our fan base. I mean, people have just jumped on board and been like, because of some of those awards, people are like, well, maybe I should check these guys out.
Right.
Maybe I listen
Well,
to
it's like a cross-promotional thing.
Sure.
Someone's promoting their whatever experience with you, and you're lumped
Right,
into that, and so
right.
on and so forth. And
Right.
Yeah.
And there again,
cool.
a lot of us artists, are friends on Facebook and on
Yeah.
Twitter and stuff. And so when something gets tweeted or something gets,
Yeah,
posted,
right.
then we're all kind of involved together and we all kind of try to help each other out.
Right.
It's
So-
cool.
And it's the retweeting and the sharing and
Sure.
I mean, I've
That's a
seen
big
that.
deal, man.
Yeah,
I mean-
it absolutely is. I mean, if somebody like Cody Wayne, for example, if he's hey, if you can't come see me, go see my buddy Darrin.
Sure. Exactly.
I mean, that holds a lot of weight with people.
Sure. Absolutely.
I know when we interviewed Sarah for a podcast, I threw her on the spot and I said, "Hey, who are some of your local favorite artists?" And she was just like, it took her like 10 minutes just to name everybody she could think of.
Yeah, right.
And it's funny when I throw someone on the spot like that, and I'll be doing that with you. So think about it.
Sure. Yeah.
They don't want to miss out on anybody.
Yeah.
They don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Right.
And I get that. That's why I want to ask that question because, if you ask me who my favorites are, honestly, I'm going to say Darrin Morris, Sarah Hobbs, Katie Lynn, Cody Wayne, Teaser, a huge Rio Wallace fan. But again, there's hundreds.
I know Rio from way back.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I was he moved to town from somewhere in New Orleans and into Longview, and when he was in the 6th or 7th grade, or maybe he was the 8th grade, middle school anyway, and so we used to jam and stuff when we were little kids.
He's a bad man on that guitar.
Yeah, he's a good picker, man.
Dude, you guys missed it Thursday night. He was out at back porch with Lacey Carpenter.
Oh yeah, the fiddle player,
man.
right?
And they were calling that heavy metal bluegrass.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. That's
It
cool.
was way different.
Interesting bill there.
And then they had Ricky Corey out there on bongos
Right.
too. So like keeping the measures, you know. But yeah, it was interesting.
Funny.
But they did a lot of instrumental stuff that was just crazy good.
I'll bet.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, man, they need a singer too. You know, because I mean, Lacey plays phenomenal on violin.
Boston, why don't you see about singing for that group?
Well,
Yeah, man.
I might have something in the works.
Okay, good.
Let's just say
I'll wait for that.
Well, let's just say if you've heard of Andrew Greer, have you heard of Andrew Greer? Either one of you? He played at the junior showcase for the T-Bone Walker Blues.
Oh, good.
Fest.
All right.
He's 17 years old. He's from Hallsville.
Oh, wow.
He's just an incredible guitar player for his age. And he's going to start doing like acoustic shows around town just to get his name heard. He's played all the jams and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So we record some episodes of ETX Rocks at his parents' house. They have like this storage building out
Cool.
there with like a studio feel and all that.
Cool.
And so we were just picking and grinning out there on their patio. And we come up with this concept to turn like any pop song or any country song into a blues song. So we did that with Party in the USA from Miley Cyrus.
Oh, boy.
So we're going to work on that concept and see what happens.
There you go.
But we'll do regular music and then maybe at the end of the night just throw like some random song that nobody's ever heard and put it into a blues vibe.
Sure.
You know, it'd be different. So I know you introduced each member of your band. What I'd like to know, as the front man of the Darrin Morris Band, what do you think each member of your band actually contributes individually?
Well, Jeremy,
Whether it's musically or personality-wise or whatever it might
Jeremy is he's our, as I would say, our band leader. He's our drummer, Jeremy Moore, and I let him totally, just take care of all the music as far as what we do, how people do it, what they play, what they don't play, when they play, kind of deal. So
It's nice to have that guy in the band.
yeah, and so Jeremy does that. He's our band leader, and so if there's anything that needs to be fixed or anything needs to be changed, then he's the man to go to for that. So he really keeps us, where we need to be and make sure we're, progressing and our shows are getting better and that kind of deal. Blake, I mean, having that solid bass player is so important. So important. And Blake has grown so much. When I first met Blake, he had just started learning to play the bass.
And he's the youngest member of the band.
He is the
too.
youngest. And he had just started playing the bass. And we were looking for a bass player again at our church. And so he came on with us and started playing. And since then, he's gone to Kilgore College. He's a music major, so he's just progressed so far in the last 2 or 3 years.
Right.
And now he's one of the best around. If you listen to him play bass, you'll know this guy's
I
got it
completely
going
agree
on.
with you for sure.
And then Josh, we met Josh. He came out to see one of our shows. I knew some of his family.
And he's kin to Billy Capps too.
He
right?
is, yeah. He was his
stepdad. I think.
Stepdad, yes. And so he came out with some of his family. I knew some of his family back in the day, and we had gone to church again. The church thing always comes up, but it seems like everything obviously is centered around church with us, but which is not a bad thing.
No,
so,
not at all.
What's
but
first
anyway.
on the list? Faith, family, country
That's right,
music,
that's right.
trains.
So, but honestly though, I mean, I owe, yeah,
Trucks.
but
Trucks, yeah.
but I owe, and I think we owe everything to God and faith. So, but
Sure,
anyway, getting
sure.
back on, but as far as Josh, we met Josh. He came out to see us play one time at the back porch, and at that time we were looking for a guitar player because one of ours had quit. This is like the 5th or 6th guitar player
Sure.
we've had to find in the last 3 years, which has been crazy. For the most part, we've been pretty solid as far as keeping members, but there's always one guitar player that we seem to lose every
course.
so often. But anyway.
They're scoundrels.
But yeah, Josh, playing rhythm now for us, keeping us where we need to be on each song, and really having an understanding of each song, and that's so important. Because a lead player, they can get away with just doing a lot of things, and they don't really have to know the whole song or like where we're at and what's going on. But the rhythm player has to know everything about the song.
The lead guy, basically, in a lot of the ways that you guys go out around here, you don't always have an auxiliary player with you, a steel, fiddle, manly guy. So the lead guitar player is the auxiliary guy. So he's all over the place.
All those fills and leads and things, all the colorful stuff that goes into a song.
Yeah.
But the rhythm player has to know exactly what's going on every song.
He's got to hold the fort down.
Exactly. So Josh is really good about that. And so, all of us together doing our own thing and taking care of our parts of the show is what makes us, what we are.
And what about yourself?
And I just get up there and make noise, on the microphone, man. So.
Yeah, well, you make the noise that everybody cares about.
Darrin is a
at the end of the day,
very humble person.
Us musicians, we like to think that we're the reason for the whole deal, but that's not the case. It's all about the vocal, and as soon as we forget that, particularly in my line of work with producing and mixing, if I forget that, then I haven't made a very good record. That's just a fact.
That is very true. So what are some of your favorite shows that you've performed at, whether it's because you're playing with a certain other band maybe you looked up to, or just favorite shows overall?
There have been a couple shows in the last 2 years, and one very recently, that have really been some of our biggest shows, and I think some of the greatest shows. We opened for Tracy Byrd a few months back, which was really, really cool for us. Tracy was a great. I mean, if you've ever met
was at
Tracy,
the Rio?
It was at the Rio.
Cool.
Tracy is one of the nicest guys, and his whole band, some of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Now he's a Texas boy, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
Actually, Beaumont.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's on my short list. We're working on him.
Good.
It would be great to have Tracy if you could get him.
Yeah,
to
we're
the show.
working on it.
Such a cool guy.
Yeah, I'm working
Such a
on
cool
him
guy.
and Mark Chestnut. I know they're both from Beaumont, I think.
Yes, they are. Yep. So that was a great show. That was at the Rio. Meet him and his band. It was great. We opened for JB and the Moonshine Band in Lake Striker last year, and that was really cool. JB and them were really cool, right here from Tyler.
Sure.
So,
sure. Red 11 artists.
Yep, that's right. So JB and them, very cool guys. It was fun to open for them. But I guess the most important show, or not important, but I mean
Just the one you had the most fun at.
Aaron Watson 2 weeks ago at the Blenders.
Sure.
So you're still riding that high then?
Oh, man, that was so cool.
I know you have another one coming up here.
We do.
On August
27th, we'll be opening for Whiskey Myers.
Yes.
That's great.
And that's at Lake Striker as well.
It's at Lake Striker. I haven't met those guys yet, so hopefully it'll be a great
They're
one.
nice guys. Another example.
They're from Tyler, right?
Yeah, from around here. So another example of local boys making good.
We are definitely going to try, my girlfriend and I, we're going to try to do the Josh Ward thing in Bullard on August 26th, and then we want to go see Whiskey Myers and Darrin Morris the next night.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
That would be a heck of a weekend of country music.
Sure.
I'm just saying.
It's going to be a fun weekend.
So you guys out there, if you're looking for just probably the most intense weekend of Texas country music.
There you go.
August 26th and 27th.
Yes. That's right.
Start in Bullard at the K.E. Bushman Center with Josh Ward, Chris Colston, and Kirk Baxley. And then the next night, make your way down to Reclaw, Texas for Lake Striker.
Be a good
and
weekend.
That's Darrin Morris and Whiskey Myers. I don't think you could probably have a better weekend.
Sounds good to me.
Come on out. Let's do it.
So I know I told you.
Let's all get on the tour bus and make it happen.
Yeah, there you go.
Heck yeah. We'll do it. I'll probably be running behind the tour bus. Street skiing.
Yeah.
So I know I said I was going to put you on the spot. So who are some of your favorite local East Texas artists?
Well, like I said, Sarah Hobbs, great friend of mine.
She's great.
Just such a sweetheart and such an awesome artist. To me, one of the best country or Texas country female artists there is. I mean, I don't care.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
And if you know her personally, you would never ever believe how sweet she is.
Yeah. So she's a great friend of ours. We've done quite a few shows together, and we've done some duets and stuff, which is really fun because she's just a fun person to be around.
And I mentioned on her episode, so I have to mention it on here too. Last year at the 2015 East Texas Music Awards, Nathan Honeycutt had the bright idea of having Darrin Morris and Sarah Hobbs give away the Rap Artist of the Year award.
That's right. Yeah.
I mentioned that on her episode,
Funny.
so I have to mention it again here. And I said to Nathan, I said, you don't think this is going to fail? He said, "Nah, man, I heard Sarah can rap."
It was perfect, man.
So she grabbed the microphone and she actually rapped.
Great. It was great.
Yeah, no, her new single's got Sam Riggs featuring Sam Riggs.
Point of No Return. Great song.
Love Sam Riggs.
Great song.
That's another great
So
Texas
Sarah,
country
one of my
artist.
favorites. Obviously, Cody Wayne's a good friend of mine.
Right,
Him and his wife Tamara have helped us out a lot with some different gigs, and some people in the industry have got to help us out with that kind of deal. Chris Colston, great
Chris.
guy, man. He opened for us one time in Tyler at Clicks. First time I'd ever met Chris, ever heard him, and I was blown away. I told everybody then, I was like, man, this is like a young George Strait.
Yeah.
This guy.
Completely agree.
He is so good. And what is he, 19, 20?
Yeah, I think he's 20 now.
Just
I think he
graduated,
was
didn't he?
18 when I met him, so it's been a couple years.
He's 20 now.
But just pure vocalist, man. The guy is just
He's great.
phenomenal. And so, but great guy as well. I mean, just his whole attitude
nice.
and personality is great. Him and his whole family, his mom and his dad and everybody are just all good friends of ours. And so those three for sure. Teaser. I mean, if you like rock music, those guys are phenomenal. Toby's like everybody's big brother. I love that guy to death. And Rio is just, one of the greatest guitar players I've ever heard in my life.
Fellas. Trip down memory lane going to one of those concerts, right?
So, yeah. As
stuff.
far as, like younger artists, obviously Katie Lynn is everybody's favorite. I mean, she's just so cool.
We're all rooting for her.
So good, yeah. And I'm hoping she just wins that whole thing. That's really cool.
What a sweet girl.
Well, it could happen.
And, like you said, I could go on forever. But, and I hate to.
It's not a fair question.
If I don't mention everybody's name, I totally apologize. But there's so many around here that I really enjoy and really are.
I think the main point that we can all reiterate as fans, I know all three of us are fans of local music, is pick a venue. You might be surprised what you get to hear.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's like things have kind of reversed a little bit. When I was growing up, when record stores and people were buying music all the time. I mean, that's what I used to do then. I would go to the record store and say, let me just take a chance on somebody.
Yeah.
But, now, that's much less accessible. And so really that's what you have to do live now is you just say, well, what's happening at the back porch tonight or whatever.
Exactly.
You just go check out some great live music.
And that's what I was going to say the other day. We played a show during the day out at Cedar Creek Lake area, Cedar Creek Brewery. We played a show out there from 12 to 4. Well, when we got done, of course, we all came back home. We didn't stay, so we was close enough to where we could all come back home. And as soon as everybody got back home, we were all texting each other, going, "Okay, who's playing where? This place, this. Who's here, who's there?" And so several of us that night just went out. And,
so where'd you go?
Grabbed a place. I actually stayed at home because the wife and kids were home, and so we went out and did some things together. But several of the guys.
That's number 2 on the list.
There you go.
Yeah.
But and I have to take advantage of those times when I can. Sometimes. And sometimes we'll go out together to a venue.
Sure.
But that night we didn't. But I know some of the guys went to Jefferson, went to the Backport, different places and saw.
See, as a fan, and I mean, I'm loosely associated with the music industry, but I mean, as a fan, it's really hard for my girlfriend and I to decide between going to see someone new and going to see someone we love.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
Because we love seeing Darrin in concert and other people you mentioned, and as well as others. But we also want to discover, a band we haven't heard yet, or hear a band we haven't heard yet. So it's always hard for us to decide, do we go and see something we've already seen, but we love the heck out of it? Or
and that's the thing, with us as East Texas artists, we understand that because there's people like you who have, you'll love country music and you love rock music and you love this kind and this kind, and so you love this artist and this artist. And every weekend, we're all playing somewhere in this area,
right? Yeah.
So you can't be at, we understand you can't be at every show that we do, or
that's why I did the whole "Where's Boston Now" hashtag that I've been doing, because I don't want people to be able to predict where I'm going to be.
Perfect.
And so, I mean, and we try to go to different towns, different venues, and see different people. Like, man, we saw the Purple Holes this past
Those chicks are awesome.
Saturday. Was it
so
Saturday?
good.
No, it was Friday.
It was Friday night, yeah.
Man, were they great. Have
They're
you heard
amazing.
of the Purple Holes?
I have heard of them, yes.
Wow, are they amazing.
Absolutely.
And super sweet girls, too. I mean, they were really nice to us. And I was real fortunate. We're just, sitting around waiting for them to start. And I was decked out in my ETX music stuff because I wanted to meet them and talk to them and, let them know that they were nominated and things like that. And I'd been in contact with them through email, but in person you can get a whole lot more done. Sure.
Yep.
So I'm just sitting there, and they said, okay, they're fixing to start, and they get on the microphone. I don't know if you were there yet, but
I've missed like the first one or two songs.
Okay, well this was weird. They were like, okay, so who wants to announce us? And
there you go.
I mean, I didn't even know my arm was going up, and they were like, you, come on up. I was like, oh, this is going to be great.
Perfect, man.
Yeah. So I went up there and I announced them as a top 5 finalist. I'm co-host of the East Texas Music Awards, and it was because of you folks out there that they're a top 5 finalists. They had no idea who I was. Like, they know who I am by name, but not by face.
Right.
And so I get down and they were just like, well, thank you, Mystery Man. And then we talked afterwards, and so we're hoping to have them on the show too. They've played the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they've been on that stage.
Yeah.
Man.
So speaking of the Grand Ole Opry, what's in the future for Darrin Morris?
Oh my gosh, man! I hope.
Hopefully the Grand Ole Opry.
Right?
Right?
That'd be awesome.
I mean, shoot, man. We just want to go as far as it'll take us. I mean, wherever it takes us to, man, that's what we're going to do. I mean, we're not going to limit ourselves to this place or this place or this state or whatever. Man, we just want to go as far as it'll take us, man. And we're.
I know you want to play Tyler.
Of course, yeah. Come on,
yeah.
Tyler venues out there. Jump on the DMB train.
I think once we get in Tyler, we've got it all made.
Yeah,
right?
you've got it sewed up then.
No. But seriously, man, we want to just do and go as far as we can. I mean, we're willing to work and travel and do whatever we need to do to get this done. So, Yeah.
So I know that we have a fan question.
Yeah.
It's an important one.
Yeah, it's really important.
This is going to make or break this podcast.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So I decided after 13 episodes of doing this that I'm going to start asking for fan questions just because I think it would be fun. And so we got one question for Darrin Morris, one of the most well-known musician bands in the area. And Wendy Hightower Bozeman wants to know, how do you keep your curls from getting frizzy in the East Texas humidity?
Oh man, I mean, it's just I wake up like this, man. It's just natural, and I never have to do anything to my hair. No, it's just
that's
just the way. Oh, okay. Well, Wendy is a great fan of ours. We've known Wendy now for about 1.5 years, and we love her to death. She's cool people, man. And her and her friends always come out to hear us. And
cool.
So, but I actually do use some anti-frizz stuff.
Sure.
You can buy it at Walmart, man. It's not bad. It's not tough to get. So.
Well, it's funny because I've heard this before. I've heard, about Darrin Morris's hair.
Oh my gosh.
How does he get his hair like that? I'll wake up some days and I'll have the hair down on my face, and my son will say, "Dad, you got that Darrin Morris hair going on today."
Yeah.
And so,
but without the anti-frizz.
Right. It's just, you get out of the pool, and it's just all hanging down.
Yeah.
DMB.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I saw that question last night, I was like, finally.
So, yeah, it's just all natural. I never have to do anything. So
yeah, right.
We'll just keep it
perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah, right.
So, do you get that a lot at shows? Questions about your hair?
People touch my hair a lot. They do touch my hair. I'm like, okay, this.
Awesome.
This just got weird.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm down to my last 2 questions. I don't know if you have anything else, Chad, but
I'm just here for the ride, buddy.
Me too. That's how much. Right.
I think the most important question that we ask every single week of each guest that we have is advice for young people. We've all been young people. We've all, I'm not a musician. I pretend to sing, but from people who like yourself, who could be viewed as a star, even if it's a local star, advice is always so important for the younger generation. So I always try to give each of our guests an opportunity to speak to the younger generation out there and give any kind of advice or insight that you may have for those folks.
The biggest thing is you have to start somewhere. I mean, no one starts out, booking venues every weekend or traveling all over the world. You have to start somewhere, start local. I've seen so many artists, so many friends of mine, because somebody told them they sang good or they played good, all of a sudden they're moving to Nashville. And then 2 or 3 months later, they come back crushed.
Yeah.
I would say the absolute best thing you can do, start out local, work your butt off, build that home fan base, and eventually Texas country or Nashville country or somebody, they'll find you.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to do all the stuff that the record label used to do in development years ago. Now the artist has to do that.
You do.
And there's no substitute for it. You just got to get out there and hustle.
Go out there, work your tail off, do social media like crazy, like we talked about earlier. That's one of the biggest tools we have as artists right now is social media. And for the most part, it's free. So use it. You know?
Yeah.
But don't let anybody,
break you down.
Yeah, break you down, discourage you from pursuing your dream. Work hard. You might be told no 100 times, but one time you'll be told yes, and so you just gotta go for that.
That one yes makes it all worth it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Never give up. And I know I
always say don't be afraid to ask any question to anyone.
Right.
And because when you do that, all of a sudden you're talking to Gene Watson.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? You know exactly.
Fun.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, never give up. Don't let everybody discourage you. Surround yourself with people that can lift you and build you up. Mm-hmm. But you got to work hard. It's not going to come to you. It's not. No one's going to give you anything.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's a big thing in this nation and in this world right now is people want everything for free and they don't want to work for it, and that's just not. It's not the way. That's not the real world. It doesn't happen like that.
No.
So,
well, we talked about Katie Lynn earlier, and she was our very first episode, and I asked that question to her. 12 years old. You know what her answer was? You got to have faith in yourself and faith in God.
Absolutely.
Before anything else.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
12 years old.
It's a good answer.
100%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why she's doing what she's doing.
I was just like,
yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Wisdom from a 12-year-old. That's great.
That's it
awesome.
right there. That you can't get better advice than that.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
So, you talked about social media. My last question, how can people find you?
DarrinMorrisBand.com is our website. DMB5273 is our Twitter account. And then just Darrin Morris Band on Facebook.
And don't forget the app.
That's right. Darrin Morris Band on the App Store. Yeah, just go to the App Store. It's like I said. And if you pull that app up, you can get to all those links just from the same app. So,
yeah, sure.
Yeah. And like I said, again, for the third time, free, man.
Yeah, all of that is free.
Yep.
And Darrin is very active on all of his social media. That's part of the process that we've talked about with getting your product out there.
Sure.
And social media, I mean, I've seen so many bands that are not as savvy with it, and they suffer because of it.
Yeah. Right.
They really should be people like, somebody out there that gives lessons or classes on it, because as easy as it looks, it's really not.
No, I mean, and we try to do something, at least every day on 2 or 3 of those.
And timing is everything.
Social media
people
sites.
don't realize, you can, if you post something important at 10 o'clock at night, you're not doing it right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you've got to. You got to kind of identify when those peak hours.
There is strategic hours where there's
absolutely.
so many more people involved in social media than others. So you got to learn those things too.
Yeah,
So.
if your audience is a music-based audience, you don't want to post something on Friday or Saturday at like 9:30 either.
Yeah.
Right.
Because everybody should be out.
Everybody's
watching
out.
someone.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or playing or whatever.
Yeah. So I mean, just got to be smart about it. We do these. I do these live videos trying to help people get the word out on where they're playing every week, and I usually do them Thursday or Friday, and I try to do them between 3 and 6. I know people work, but at the same time, that video will be there for them when they get off of work, and it gives the artist an opportunity to stop into the video and comment their show or whatever.
Right.
And it's going really well.
One of the best times in the day is lunch.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody's checking their stuff.
I'm not awake
Yeah.
at that time.
I'm not awake.
Oh, gosh.
That time,
I'm just getting up myself, but
that time does
That's the
not
first thing you do when you get up, right?
Noontime does not exist in the world of Boston Chris.
But seriously though, lunchtime is a very, very peak time.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is.
So anyway, just throwing that out.
Once again, I want to thank you, Darrin, for coming
Thank
on
you,
ETX
man.
Rocks.
Yep.
We really appreciate it. Are you going to be coming to the pre-party jam on August 25th?
I'm not sure yet, man.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. I think we might have a gig that night, but I'm not.
No, you can't have a gig.
I know. I'm not supposed to, right?
We'll call the venue and take care of it.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I'll let people know out there. I'm trying to think. Yeah, this will be released on August 21st. So I know that Darrin has a show on the 26th of August at the Back Porch, I believe, and the 27th of August at Lake Striker with Whiskey Myers.
Yep. And then the 28th at the Horseshoe Casino.
At the Horseshoe Casino.
Cool. Full
Bossier
weekend.
City, right?
In Bossier City. Full weekend.
That's a 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
Which means he's not booked on the 25th. No.
I actually am. But
where are you at the 25th?
On the border in Longview.
Oh,
cool.
We're going to be doing every Thursday starting this Thursday.
Okay.
For the next month.
Oh, fun.
Cool. So,
well, this Thursday would be. Don't pay attention to this Thursday because this won't be out until the 21st.
True.
So your first Thursday there will be the 25th.
It will be.
Yeah.
Which happens to be the same night as the jam.
Uh-oh.
And go to the jam. Go to the jam.
Do not go eat Mexican food.
Yeah, y'all just go to the jam.
I'll let people know about the jam out there. It's the East Texas Music Awards pre-party jam and meet and greet. It's going to be held at Charlie's Backyard Bar right there in Marshall on Columbus Street. That's on Thursday night, August 25th. Just announced, this will be very cool. We're going to have a live recording of the ETX Rocks podcast at the pre-party jam and meet and greet. So if you are a musician or a fan or a finalist or a former award winner or just anybody, come see me and we will get you on the air. We're going to do hopefully 90 minutes to 2.5 to 3 hours, as many guests we can get in there. And we'll hopefully have 3 or 4 episodes out of that.
Cool.
That'll be, again, August 25th at Charlie's Backyard Bar at, I think it's North Columbus Street in Marshall, Texas. Of course, if you have not gotten your tickets yet for the East Texas Music Awards, that is at K.E. Bushman Center right here in beautiful Bullard, Texas on Highway 69, the corner of Highway 69 and Highway 2493, or County Road 2493.
Yeah.
And you can get your tickets to that event at etxmusic.com. Make sure you do. Remember, if you buy VIP tickets, 10% of those the purchase of those tickets go to the Kilgore Boys and Girls Club.
It's great.
If you want a discount of 10% off of any ticket you buy, enter the promo code ETX ROCKS16 for 10% off your total purchase. We will see you that night, September 16th, 6:30 p.m. at K.E. Bushman Center. Find out who wins all the awards. Will Darrin Morris win? I bet he will. Will Katie Lynn win? I bet she will. I bet you a lot of people will win. I bet you guys will want to see it. So make sure you check it out. And go to Malden Productions online, Facebook. Like their page, maldenprod.com. Go there. If you need to have some of your stuff recorded, whether it's music, whether it's podcasts, whether it's anything, come on down and see Chad Malden at Malden Productions, and he will make sure you are heard. Thank you again. Remember to support your local music, and ETX rocks.
Chad Malden here, music producer and mixing engineer for Malden Productions. You know, you've just been listening to this ETX Rocks podcast in Bullard, Texas at Studio 333 Recording Studio. It's an amazing facility, a hidden gem out here in East Texas. You know, I want you to go to my website to get more information. I want you to go to maldenprod.com. That's MAULDIN PROD, maldenprod.com. And you can find out about me, folks I've worked with. You can hear samples of my work, but then you can also link over and find out more information about this great recording studio, this great facility. And so I want you to do that. I want you to go to the website, maldenprod.com, get any information that you need, and then also feel free to reach out because we're happy to answer any questions that you have or chat about anything that you want to chat about. Thanks a lot.
We are ETX Rocks!